Cocoa is up tremendously. It used to trade around 2,300 US dollars a ton. It's now trading over $8,000 a ton. The main cause is a lack of supply. We have problems with climate change, El Nino, in the two big growing areas, which is the Ivory Coast and Ghana in West Africa. And they're also having some problems with pests and diseases. So production down about 30% over last year.
Okay, so what impact, more specifically, is this having on those major African processing plants you mentioned there in the Ivory Coast, as well as Ghana, which produce so much of the world's cocoa?
Well, at the moment, the processing plants, which basically take the cocoa beans and turn it into cocoa butter and cocoa liquid, can't afford to buy beans. And not only they can't afford to buy beans, it's also a lack of supply. So they're really using their existing stocks at the moment, which are dwindling quite rapidly.
So what's the solution in all of this? There are a few key stakeholders and players. We know that it's a highly regulated industry, state-controlled, particularly in those African countries. Who can solve the problem? Where do you start?
Yeah, that's a good question. If we knew that answer, we'd all be getting very rich. The problem really is, at the moment in Africa, is climate change. So we've had the two biggest producing countries being impacted by climate change, and therefore now the production's down by 30%. That's not something you can fix overnight. And we're looking at this as being a very structural problem, because the climate change isn't going to get better any quicker. There is also issues then with rainfall and the, I guess, more infections of the plants and so forth. And at the end of the day, the farmers who are now getting much older, they don't seem to have their succession plans in, because the kids who are on the farms watching their parents don't necessarily want to work on cocoa farms where they see that their parents have not been getting paid the right kind of money for the cocoa. So farmer poverty is actually a big issue here too, and it's one of the issues that we're trying to rectify.